We've seen $3 billion cut from TAFE. If the government had a package that included social housing, then you can put in place mechanisms to support tradies, apprentices on the job to make sure that we deal with what will be a future skills crisis on top of the skills shortages that we see today. There's nothing wrong with supporting private housing. It's a good thing. But this package today will require $150,000 of expenditure. At a time of economic uncertainty, not many people have $150,000 ready to go, ready to sign a contract when their jobs and the economic uncertainty that is out there will provide a hindrance to that investment. So we're concerned about the targeting of this package. We'll examine it in detail, but we do think that the government needs to have a comprehensive plan that deals with private housing, yes, but also deals with social housing. And that's the big weakness in the package. That's the big missing element. I grew up in social housing not far from here. It provided security and a roof over the head of myself and my mum. It makes a difference to people. During this crisis, we've put homeless people up in hotels because there's simply nowhere else for them to go. We know that the queues have got longer and longer over a period of time. We know that investment in social housing provides a return on that capital over a period of time. It's purchasing an asset, whether it be new or whether it be upgrades. And that's something that this government doesn't seem slightly interested in. Jason?
Thanks, Albo. This morning, the Prime Minister talked about keeping the dream alive. Well, today, I think a lot of tradies will be saying, tell him he's dreaming. The Prime Minister pretends that he's the friend of Australian tradies, but today he's let them down because what they've done today is fail to deliver. They promised a rescue package, but instead of delivering a lifeboat, all they've thrown Australian tradies is a floatie. There's about 1 million Australians who work in the home building industry, from carpenters and plumbers and electricians through to the people that make the tiles and the plasterboard and the cement. And all of them were relying on the Prime Minister to deliver today, and he's failed. We know the housing industry is in crisis. Before the coronavirus hit, there were supposed to be 160,000 homes built this year. Now it's predicted that'll be as low as 100,000. And the package the Prime Minister's announced today will only inflate or increase that figure by 10,000. That means a lot of homes won't be built and a lot of tradies are going to end up on the dole queue. A lot of tradies ending up at Centrelink. For a lot of tradies, what this means is that instead of working on the tools at the local job site building houses, all they're going to be building is a longer line out the front of Centrelink. And over the next few months, as tradies in their utes are doing laps around Centrelink looking for a car parking space, they'll know who to blame, the Prime Minister who failed to deliver today. And he can't say he wasn't warned. For 6 weeks, we've been telling the government they need a comprehensive plan to keep Australian tradies working. And that includes building social housing, repairing social housing, building more affordable accommodation for frontline workers, expanding the first home loan deposit scheme to encourage more first home buyers to build their first home, and grants for first home buyers as well. What the government has announced today is barely one of those measures. And the government can't say that they don't have history to tell them what to do either. When the global financial crisis hit, it smashed the housing construction industry. And we responded. We put together a package that included grants and social housing, and it helped the industry to recover. It stopped us going into recession. Today, the housing industry is in even worse shape. Even the government's documents admit that. And we're already in recession. And what the government's announced today is less than 1/10 of what we did to help the housing construction industry and Australian tradies a decade ago. And remember, at the start of this week, they talked about renovation rescue. All of this hype about renovations, how you're going to be able to renovate your kitchen and renovate your bathroom. And turns out it's all rubbish. You know, there's not many battlers in the suburbs of Australia that have got a lazy $150,000 to renovate their kitchen or their bathroom. It just turns out to be a massive fizzer. It reminds me of that movie, The Wizard of Oz. We've all seen The Wizard of Oz. Remember when Dorothy and the gang get to the Emerald City and they hear the big booming voice of the Great Oz? And then finally Toto grabs the curtain and pulls it away, and you suddenly find out that he's not that great and powerful after all. And it's the same thing with this housing package. All week we were told how big and bold and powerful this would be. Turns out it's not that great after all, and Australian tradies are the ones who are going to suffer because of it.